Give it a test. Testing, 1, 2, 3. New microphone, new channel, new videos. Testing, 1, 2, 3. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gianluca, aka Dr. Calcagno. I am a full-time family medicine doctor working in Canada, and this is the 6-month mark since, or just over, closer to 7 months since I got into full-time practice. And I really wanted to make this video because, as the title shows, I have been absent for 6, 7 months now. I really threw myself into full-time practice. We've been doing some crazy hours, and it feels great to have made it this far, but this is the type of video that I know that I would have wanted to see as I was going through my medical training. So it's geared specifically towards people that are currently in medical training. I'll have another video coming out very, very shortly going over kind of my experience and answering some questions from the public and things like that about the practice. But more so just kind of talking to people about kind of my firsthand experiences from averaging 70, 80 hours per week as a family medicine doctor and everything else that I've been doing in that time. And is this something that you want to do? Is this sustainable? How have I been able to do it so far? What have my experiences been like? And hopefully this helps everyone watching to make better informed decisions about what type of doctor you want to be. So, long overdue, here is the story of why and how I gave up everything in my first 6 months of working full-time as a doctor. In this era of people talking about medicine here on YouTube, you have all these different experiences and people practicing one way or doing things another way. This was my way. I'm not saying it's the best way, and I'm not saying that everyone should be doing it this way. Certainly there were times where it was definitely overwhelming. I think I'm at a point right now where I've gotten used to the schedule and the flow has kind of improved a little bit. But let's take it back. So basically I graduated from my residency, and immediately afterwards, so family medicine residency here in Canada, and then I immediately started taking on a full-time roster. Now, what was great was that I actually decided to work at the same office that I did my residency with. So I knew a couple of the other doctors in the building. And then I had one of my really good friends join the practice as well, which has been amazing because you have someone there that you knew and you trained with as well. And it's really great. And we were full right away. We were swamped with applications. I started getting the word out that I was taking new patients. And we very quickly exceeded 1,500 applications, let's say. And the problem is when you have that many people show up all at the same time, you have to stagger how many you could see, because the problem is many of these people haven't had a doctor in a very long time, as I talked about in other videos, and you get an influx of people that are acutely unwell. So you have to do a lot of work as a new doctor to get them back onto track. You don't get, for the most part, people show up at your practice that are healthy. For the most part, healthy people don't seek out a doctor, but people that need help as soon as there's a new doctor in town kind of flood the practice all at once. And that's what we had to deal with in the beginning. So we had that part going on. And then at the same time, I knew that I, in particular, had an interest for rural medicine, particularly rural emerge. So I started a rural medicine, if you want to call it a fellowship, or a mentorship program where I was working up north in the emergency departments up there. And the reason why I decided to do that was because after finishing my family medicine training, I guess you could say that the program, it wasn't rural, my family medicine residency program, but there was a lot of rural aspects baked in, and I had a lot of rural experiences throughout my 2 months that I spent working rurally in my residency, but I knew I needed more training. I was not ready to, do all of the demands of a rural emerge doctor completely by myself, because for the most part, that is how you are going to be working these emerge shifts in emergency medicine up north. You are the only doctor in the hospital with an awesome team of nurses and other staff as well, but you're by yourself. And as a new grad coming out of residency, I was ambitious. I knew I wanted to get into it, but I wasn't dumb with it. Like I knew that I needed a little bit more training. So I signed up for my fellowship. That turned into, let's see, we did July, August, September, October, November, finished in December. So it was about a 6-month additional training period, which you get paid for, by the way, which is another great reason to consider not doing the +1 or not doing the 5-year. If you have the confidence and you want to learn a little bit more about working up north, the preceptors were great and all that stuff. And you guys weren't going to tell me that the microphone was upside down. I would have to see it in the comment section after, so I'm glad we caught that. But new to this, sorry about that. All right, and then so what that looked like practically was that very quickly I built up to about 70 to 80 hours per week working on average, and there were many weeks that we frequently would cross 90. So where that breaks down is 9 to 6 are my office hours. So it's 9 to 5 in the office, Monday to Thursday, and then I do house calls afterwards for my palliative patients as well. Thursday nights after I'm done, I get in my car and I drive 4 hours to up north from where I'm working right now to work in the Emerge. It's 4 hours one way, 4 hours back, so we'll say 8 hours in commute for rural medicine. And I kind of exclusively work 24-hour shifts in the Emerge. If I'm going to be making that drive, then I'm working the full 24 hours. And then it's an additional 10 hours of paperwork usually, and then additional business demands that can be variable for running a full-time practice. To anyone that's new to family medicine or to running your own practice as a doctor here in Canada, reach out to Doctor Care. I would highly recommend them. This is not a sponsored video. It's just been really helpful, but you can let them know that I sent you. And Damien's a good guy. He'll help you out. Now, the next question after I say something like that is usually why. Why are you doing this? Should you have started off slower? Do you plan on slowing down anytime soon? The answer to most of those questions is no. I'm not going to be slowing down anytime soon. It's kind of foot on the gas at this point, and I will explain why. And it's one of those things where coming out of residency, you do your family medicine residency, a lot of my friends are still in residency and they're still in their training years and they're going through it. And I think it's one of the greatest parts about family medicine that you get to finish residency a little bit early on. It's one of the things that I love the most about it. And then it's a bit of a choose your own adventure after that. So I chose to do a little bit more additional training and Emerge. But my mentality is just to keep working like I'm still in residency at this point, like I'm still a general surgery resident or any other pick neurosurgery or something like that. If you're putting in those hours consistently like I am right now, you have no choice but to grow. To grow, or I guess to crack under pressure, those are really your two options. And in my case, I've tried to go at it with a growth mindset. The amount of learning that I've done being staff has eclipsed my learning in residency by many fold over. You can't get this though without going through residency. So not to put down that period of your life, but I am a strong believer of at some point, you have to just go for it. You have to cut the cord and go and start to figure out things by yourself in a safe and smart way. But this is where I've been able to push myself to the limits, and in Emerge especially, or in operating my own business and operating my own office, doing the house calls, I can't even compare to where I was this time last year and how quickly you're gaining new knowledge and going through the things, which is great. But you have to give up, or at least I did, like so many different things to be here right now. So really in the last 6 months, I could count on one hand how many times I've seen a lot of my friends. Don't really watch any TV right now. Didn't watch the Super Bowl this last weekend, and that's going to sound sacrilegious to some people. And I know a whole bunch of my patients were asking me about it in the office this week, and no, I had to miss that. There's a lot of stuff going on. Then I had to drive back here. It's the middle of winter and there's all this other stuff going on. The reason why I'm doing this is because I have big goals when it comes to want to set up my own practice, want to continue to build up the roster, want to continue to work in rural Emerge. And you can't do that stuff without, number one, learning how to do it, and then number two, making the money to actually be able to build an office and to hire the staff. And a lot of people, I think, kind of don't think about this beforehand, but it's a business, and the business needs to keep going for you to be able to see people and to provide care. And that's where we're at right now. All of the work that I'm doing right now, I like to think of it as laying the groundwork. And this is just something I want to share with people, because going through residency and medical school before, it's not something that's really talked about. The goal was to get out of medical school, get out of residency, and go to work and work very hard and continue to learn, but to put all of that effort towards a goal. And that's where we're at right now. And it feels great. But the potential for burnout, the potential for crashing and burning along the way is very high. And you see it often. How many times, even in my own practice, am I taking patients because there are other doctors that close shop and decided that it's not worth it for them anymore, or mental health challenges, they've burnt out. So that's been something that I'm trying my best to keep in mind. My family's super supportive, my girlfriend's super supportive. And myself, I think it's really important that if there's one thing that I keep time for every single day, it's to set time for myself to go to the gym. So it's about 4 or 5 days per week right now. The physical activity really, really helps. I practice what I preach, and I tell my patients about it too. But that's where we're at right now in terms of the hours and why. And I was so sick of every month those medical school loans, like they just take the money right out of your account, and then you're a resident and you're a med student and you don't have it there, and you just see that number of debt rising and rising. And to all of the Americans watching this right now, you're probably laughing and saying that I don't know what I'm talking about, because you guys are paying a lot more than I am. But it sucked. It was so bad. And I'll say, the sacrifice that I go through now, at least I'm getting the reward for it. And I've had many people ask me, report back and talk about how is the money situation? How much are you getting paid with family medicine specifically? And I just want to say, it's to anyone that has told me that you don't make money in family medicine, you can't support the business. I just don't think they're going about it the right way. Just rough numbers, if you crunch the math, it's around $175 to $200 per hour times however many hours you work. And you get to set that schedule. There are some people that want to work 20 hours per week, 30 hours per week. If you choose to work more than that, the rate is still the same, but you just end up making less. And that's because I do a lot of different things, a lot of procedures in the office as well. Procedures actually don't pay a lot for what it's worth. You're basically doing procedures for free as a family medicine doctor. But the emerge, the palliative medicine, a few other things as well, long-term care for people that do that, those are really kind of high earning potential opportunities for you in family medicine. So I thought about it for a long time, about why make videos at all? Why make today's video? And what's going to happen moving forward? And I love doing it. Pretty much. That's why I decided to do this one today. I really did miss it. And slowly, I do want to start reintroducing things that I really like to do back into my schedule, because I think that's how you provide some longevity to what you're doing. But more importantly than that, I'd say, is to show other people exactly what I said that I was going to do and how it's been working out for me, because I know that there's someone out there thinking the exact same way, thinking that you're going to graduate, you're going to do residency, and then you're going to work your butt off to go ahead and put yourself ahead for the long run. And that's exactly what my plan has been. And it's working out really well so far. There's nothing I could report from today saying that I regret any decision that I've made. I love my job. It's not easy, like at all. It's not all sunshines and rainbows, that's for sure. The emerge especially, but even in the office, the hard part, and I'll talk about this more in another video, unfortunately, not every day, it doesn't matter where you are, is going to be the same. And there are some days where you are just going to go into work and you are everyone's punching bag. And it doesn't matter if it's the hospital, it doesn't matter if the people that come and see you, unfortunately, have their own problems going on. No one goes to the doctor because everything's fine and they just want to talk about their day. And unfortunately, a lot of that gets projected onto, whether you're a nurse or in my case, family doctors, who just speaking out of my experience here. And there's days where you're just going to get pounded. Like, you're going to go to work, and from personal experience, you're going to have someone come in and they're just yelling at you about why you won't give them more opiate medication. And then someone else is going to come in and get mad at you about why you don't want to start them on Ozempic for weight loss and they're 17, 18 years old and with a BMI of 20. And it's these little things, but you're working 80 hours, 90 hours, then you get yelled at all day, and then you got to go home and do paperwork all night. The job is not glamorous. It's not what people think that it is, but it's the job that I signed up for, and it's the job that is necessary. Like someone has to do it. And if that is the case, as I expect that it will continue to be, just looking at everything, there is no shortage of work for me right now. That much I could promise you. You have to create a situation for yourself where you find some sort of enjoyment in it. And for me, it's knowing that working 4 days in my office, I look forward to that fifth day and doing emerge. And likewise, after a 24-hour shift in the emerge, I look forward to going back to my office. And that much has been good. My patients have been great for the most part. Had a few different people come in, and we'll have stories and things like that in the future as well. But that's my report from the first little bit. Do I regret giving up everything? Pretty much everything. What do I do? I go to the gym, I go to work, hang out with my family for the most part. My girlfriend has been great, and I'll make an effort to see my friends a little bit more in the future, and then I go back to work. And that's always been the plan. I expect that will continue to be the plan over the course of the next 1 to 2 years. As things start building, then I'll try and open up a little bit more free time for myself. But this is what I need to do right now. And I think this is probably, at least as far as I could see it, the most successful way for you to do it. And there's a great feeling knowing that I have been a well-rounded family doctor that I wanted to be. And that emerge experience provides me with that. The house calls, the procedures, and all that, things are going well. So to anyone that's interested in doing something similar, you want to get into family medicine, I know CARM's applications are already done for this cycle. This video probably is snooze fest to a lot of people out there. But to the people that needed to see it, I hope that it provides you with everything that you needed to know that this is the place that you're heading, and it can be great on the other side. It really can. There's a lot of awesome stuff that happens, and for what it's worth, you do feel like a superhero a lot of times too when it goes exactly right. But best of luck with everything you have going on. More videos coming out now. We've got this. I got there's no way going back. We're gonna get some more stuff out when I can. And everyone have a great day. So we'll see you later.